Chapter 3. Lila walked with a different kind of energy today. Her feet moved with a quiet certainty, as though they knew the way before she did. The word shop had begun to settle into her like a familiar melody, its rhythm weaving itself into the hum of her thoughts even when she was away. This past week, she found herself feeling in ways she never had before. She noticed the way her body responded to things, a warmth in her chest when she heard a friend's laughter, a subtle tension in her shoulders when something didn't quite sit right. It was as if something had shifted, as if she had begun to tune into something that had always been there, waiting. Lila's steps quickened as she neared the familiar ivy-covered storefront, the weight of the day slipping away from her shoulders. Today, the windows reflected the pale hues of a cloudy sky, giving it the look of a hidden sanctuary waiting just for her. The brass bell chimed, its low, melodious note blending with the soft rustle of pages turning somewhere inside. Ylang-ylang, warm spices, and the scent of old parchment curled around her, and, as her eyes adjusted, she noticed a single word glowing softly in one of the glass jars. Love. Her grandmother was waiting at their usual table, steam curling from their teacups, and in the center, placed with the same quiet reverence as before, was another ivory card. Lila slipped into her seat, her fingers tingling as she reached for it. She turned the card over slowly, letting the inked letters reveal themselves. Spark. A spark lives within you, humming with quiet certainty, glowing like a single candle in the dark. One spark can change a story, awaken a dream, and set the whole world alight. Tell me, Lila, what does this word stir in you? Her grandmother's gaze rested on her. Lila traced the letters, feeling a flicker of something in her chest. It feels alive. Her grandmother nodded. Yes, a spark is the beginning of something. It is the language of your soul, whispering, "This matters." A single flicker that holds the potential for more. Lila looked up, curiosity dancing in her eyes. More of what? What do you wish for more of? Her grandmother smiled softly. Lila hesitated. The question caught her off guard. She had been so busy keeping up with university, with deadlines and expectations, that she hadn't really wished for anything in a long time. She exhaled slowly. I don't know. Her grandmother reached into her pocket and pulled out a small wooden matchbox. She slid it across the table. Let's find out. Lila's brows furrowed, but she took it, sliding the box open to reveal a row of sturdy wooden matches. She took one out. Her grandmother picked up the small glass dish that sat beside their teapot. A candle rested inside, its wick untouched. Strike the match, her grandmother instructed gently. Lila hesitated, then did as she was told. The flame flared to life, small but steady. Her grandmother gestured toward the candle, and Lila brought the match forward, watching as the wick caught, the fire transferring with ease. The flame flickered between them. Her grandmother leaned back slightly. You see, my dear, a spark is small, but it carries the potential for something greater. It does not ask if it is ready, nor does it hesitate. It simply becomes. Lila stared at the flame, the quiet heat of it, the way it moved as though it were alive. Every passion, every idea, every great change begins this way, with a single moment of ignition, a single flicker of knowing, her grandmother continued, her voice warm. Lila swallowed. How do you know if a spark will turn into something real? Her grandmother tilted her head. A single spark does not wonder if it will become a flame. It simply begins. Have you ever felt excitement rise in you for something, even before you knew why? Lila nodded slowly. That is a spark. Her grandmother smiled. Something within you catching fire, whispering, this matters. Lila looked down at the word in her hands. Spark. The image on the card beneath it was unlike the others. It was movement itself, lines flowing outward, radiating energy, like something was just beginning to take shape. Her grandmother's voice softened. Tell me, Lila, what is sparking in you? Lila hesitated. then let out a small breath of laughter, shaking her head. This is silly, but when I was little, I wanted to be an inventor. Not just any inventor. I wanted to make things that didn't exist yet. Magical things. A book that turned its own pages, as if it knew when you were ready for the next adventure. A staircase that hummed a melody beneath your feet, composing a song only you could create. A teacup that never ran out of tea, always the perfect temperature, always waiting for you like an old friend. She paused, eyes shimmering, as if catching the faintest trace of a memory, or maybe a possibility yet to be. But more than that, I wanted to make things that knew you. A pillow that whispered dreams into your ears when sleep wouldn't come, filling the night with wonder instead of worry. A bandage that didn't just mend skin, but mended sadness too, sealing invisible wounds, the ones no one else could see. Her fingers traced invisible shapes in the air. I imagined a mirror that reflected not just your face, but your soul, so you could really talk to yourself. A wind chime that played the laughter of someone you missed, carrying their joy to you on the breeze. She let out another soft laugh, tucking a loose strand of hair behind her ear. But there was a spark in her eyes. Something unshaken, something eternal. I guess I never wanted to just make things. I wanted to create things that felt like magic. Things that didn't just exist, but understood, that whispered, I see you, I know you, and I am here for you. Her grandmother's eyes twinkled. And why did you stop? Lila sighed. I grew up, I suppose. It started to feel unrealistic, like something a child would dream about, not something real. Her grandmother reached for the matchbox again, turning it over in her hands. But, my dear, everything that exists now was once something that did not. Every great idea, every creation, every masterpiece began as a spark in someone's imagination. Lila bit her lips, staring at the candle's flame. I guess I haven't thought about that in a long time. Then perhaps it's time to think about it again, her grandmother smiled knowingly. She leaned forward, resting her chin on her hand. You know, my love, when I was young, I had a spark that I almost let go out. Lila looked up, intrigued. You did? Her grandmother nodded. I once dreamed of traveling the world, of collecting words from different languages, each one carrying its own magic. But there was a time when I thought it was too big a dream, too impractical. Life had its expectations, and I nearly convinced myself to stay in the safety of what was known. Lila furrowed her brow. So what changed? A single moment, a single spark, her grandmother smiled, her eyes twinkling again. One day I read a poem about a woman who traveled the world as a word collector, gathering forgotten words, words that held secrets of the past, and in that moment, something inside me caught fire again. I knew I had to go. Lila listened, captivated. And so you did? Her grandmother chuckled. I did. And that, my love, is why the Word Shop exists today. Because I followed the spark that whispered, this matters. She reached into the folds of her cardigan and pulled out a small, time-worn notebook. And do you know what I found on my journey? She opened it carefully, turning the pages until she landed on one filled with symbols. This word, from a tiny village tucked between mountains so high they touched the clouds. Lila leaned forward, her eyes fixated on the unfamiliar marks. What does it mean? Her grandmother traced the ink with a reverent touch. It means the light within that cannot be extinguished. I remember when I heard it for the first time. Something in me sparked to life, a knowing, as if this word had been waiting for me. Lila stared at the page, mesmerized. And you brought it back here? Her grandmother nodded. For you, for me, for everyone who steps into this shop searching for something they cannot name. She reached across the table, placing the notebook gently in Lila's hands. And now, Lila, I pass this word to you, because I think, perhaps, it has been waiting for you, too.